gateless. அதனால் அப்போ வந்து ஸ்லைடு வந்து கொஞ்சம் வித்தியாசமாக போகும். Okay. Listen, now we are running this program under AICT program. Okay. Then this subject is engineering materials. Okay. Then what did we see in the last class? Classification of materials. Okay. The classification of materials has been broadly divided into metals, plastics, ceramics, and composites. Then the classification of metals again classified into ferrous metal and non-ferrous metal. Okay. Then ferrous is again classified into steels and cast iron. Okay. Then cast iron is further divided into gray iron, ductile iron, white iron, malleable iron. Okay. Steel is divided into plain carbon steel or alloy steel. Okay. Then next, plain carbon steel is broadly divided into low carbon steel, medium carbon steel, high carbon steel, alloy steel. Then the low carbon is further divided into plain carbon steel, then tool alloy steel, that much. Okay. Okay. Now we are going to see about characteristics of material. We have seen this already. What are the characteristics of materials? Hardness, strength, rigidity, formability, machinability, weldability, conductivity. Okay. Formability, machinability, weldability, conductivity. Then what is strength? Strength is nothing but it is the property of material which opposes the deformation. Okay. It is the property of material which opposes the deformation. What is toughness? It is the ability of material to absorb the energy and gets plastically deformed without fracturing. Okay. Then hardness. What is hardness? It is the ability of material to resist to permanent shape change due to external stress. Then hardenability. What could be hardenability? Praveen? Hardenability, it is nothing but it is the ability of a material to attain the hardness by heat treatment processing. Okay. It is determined by the depth up to which the material becomes hard. Hardenability of material is inversely proportional to the weldability of material. Okay. Then second point, brittleness. Brittleness of a material indicates that how easily it gets fractured when it is subjected to a force or load. Okay. Brittleness of material is temperature dependent. Then malleability. Malleability is property of solid material which indicates that how easily a material gets deformed under compressive stress. Then ductility. What is ductility? Ductility is a property of a solid material which indicates that how easily a material gets deformed under tensile stress. With the rise of temperature, the ductility of material increases. Okay. Then creep and slip. Okay. What is creep? Creep is the property of a material which indicates the tendency of a material to move slowly and deform permanently under the influence of external mechanical stress. Then resilience. What is resilience? Resilience is nothing but it is the ability of a material to absorb the energy when it is deformed elastically by applying the stress and release the energy when stress is removed. Then what is proof resilience? Proof resilience is nothing but maximum strain energy that can be stored in the material. Okay, so these are the characteristics of material. Fatigue. What is fatigue? Fatigue is the weakening of material caused by the repeated loading of material. Okay, fatigue is the weakening of material caused by repeated loading of material. That is nothing but fatigue. Okay. Then we saw about another steels. Now what is steel? Steel is nothing but alloy of iron and carbon. Okay, but other elements like silicon, manganese, sulfur, phosphorus, nickel, etc. Okay. Specification of steel. What is specification of steel? American Iron and Steel, AISI, Society of Automotive Engineers, and American Society for Testing of Materials. Okay, for ASTM. Then designation for steel in 4 digits. Okay. Uh, first two digits indicate alloy content, and last two indicate carbon content. Okay. Now we are going to see the classification of steels. One is plain carbon steel. Another one is alloy steel. What is plain carbon steel? Plain carbon steel is nothing but low carbon steel. Plain carbon steel is classified into 3 types. One is low carbon steel, medium carbon steel, high carbon steel. Alloy steel, again, alloy steel is divided into 2 types. Low alloy steel, high alloy steel. Okay. Then plain carbon steel. What is the composition of plain carbon steel? Carbon up to 1.5 percentage and copper up to 0.6 percentage. Manganese up to 1.65 percentage, silicon up to 0.6 percentage. Okay. What are the other names of plain carbon steels? It is nothing but carbon steels, non-alloy steel, and or straight carbon steel. Okay. Then characteristics of plain carbon steel. Low cost. It is ductile in nature. Available form sheet, strip, bars, plates, and tubes, etc. Application: automobile, ball bearing, base plate, housing, structural members. Then we are going to see about low carbon steel. What is low carbon steel? Low carbon steel contains less than 0.25 percentage of carbon content. Okay, it is also called as mild steel. Okay, characteristics: it is soft material. It cannot be able to do heat treatment process. Good formability and weldability. Improves strength by cold work. Good ductility and toughness. What are the applications? Automobile, it is used in automobile frames, and it is used in I-beams. Then sheets in pipeline. It is used in bridges, and it is used in as tin cans. Medium carbon steel. Medium carbon steel, the carbon contains from 0.25 percentage to 0.6 percentage. Then heat treatment by austenizing. Okay, by quenching to improve mechanical property. Then what are the characteristics of medium carbon steel? Low hardenability, high strength and hardness achieved by sacrifice of ductility and toughness. Then application. It is used in railway tracks, gears, crankshaft, and machine parts. Okay. Then high carbon steel. In high carbon steel, the carbon contains more than 0.6 percentage. Okay. Characteristics. What are the characteristics of high carbon steel? It is hard and strong, very less ductility, more wear resistant, capable of sharp cutting edge. Okay, it is used in single point cutting tool. Then applications. It is used to make single point cutting tool. It is used to make dies. It is used to make hacksaw blades. It is used to make spring wire. Then these are the compositions and the application of steel. Okay, but we have seen this already. No problem. Then alloy steel. What is alloy steel? Alloy steel means any steels other than carbon. Alloy steel means any steel other than carbon. It contains manganese up to 1.65 percentage, silicon 0.60 percentage, then copper copper 0.60%. Alloying elements. Alloying elements, chromium, nickel, vanadium, tungsten, cobalt, boron, copper. What is the purpose of alloying? What is the purpose of adding alloying elements? To increase strength, to improve hardness, to improve toughness, to make resistance to wear, then good machinability and good ductility. Okay, what are the disadvantages of alloy steels? It is more costly, then special handling, need of austenate reaction. Next, classification of alloy steel. Okay, low alloy steel, high alloy steel, then low alloy steel. Okay, low alloy steel. What is low alloy steel? Steel contain up to good morning. Steels contain up to 3 to 4% of one or more alloying elements. Then they have similar microstructure and the need of similar heat treatment process. Okay, they are also called as pearlitic alloy steel, as normalized structure contains ectectoid pearlite. The types of alloy steels: AISI steel, HSLA steel. AISI steels, American Iron and Steel Institute, having less than about 5% total addition of elements: chromium, nickel, copper, manganese, molybdenum, vanadium, etc. It is used in machine construction and structural steels. At HSLA, what is HSLA? High strength, low alloy. Okay, HSLA steel means high strength, low alloy. Also called as microalloyed steels. Also called as microalloyed steel by adding aluminium, vanadium, either by single or combination. Then high alloy steels contain more than 5% of one or more elements. Okay. Then different microstructure and a need of different heat treatment process. Then final structure may be in austenitic, martensitic, contain participated carbides. Okay. Then types of high alloy steel. What are the types of high alloy steel? Tool and die steel, stainless steel. Okay, tool and dies. These steels are high quality steel used for tools and dies in need of hardenability, wear resistance. Okay. Stainless steel. What is the purpose of stainless steel? It is used to improve corrosion resistance. Then effect of alloying elements in steel. Usually adding up to 5% to improve mechanical and other properties. Then otherwise adding up to 20% larger quantity for special purpose like corrosion resistance. Normally steel have ferrite, carbide, austenite and graphite. Okay, okay. So these are the typical ranges. Okay, next we are going to see some important alloy steel: stainless steel, tool steel, HSLA steel, maraging steel. Okay, what are the important alloy steel means? Stainless steel, tool steel, HSLA steel, maraging steel. Stainless steel. It is an alloy of iron. Stainless steel. It is an alloy of iron, chromium, and other corrosion element. Okay. Also called as corrosion resistant steel or chromium bearing steel. Okay, then effect of chromium on stainless steel. What are the effects of chromium on stainless steel? It contains about 12% of chromium, which protective surface layer of chromium oxide to form when exposed to oxygen. Okay, it acts as a barrier to corrosion, oxidation, and rust. Okay. Then increase in chromium percentage reduces in corrosion rate. Then by adding other elements. By adding other elements such as copper, aluminum, silicon, nickel, and manganese can improve corrosive resistance. Okay. Then types of stainless steel. Okay, what are the types of stainless steel? Austenitic stainless steel, then ferritic stainless steel, then Martenstick stainless steel. Okay, so there are three types of stainless steel available. What are they? Austenitic stainless steel, ferritic stainless steel, Martenstick stainless steel. Okay. Then designation, composition, mechanical properties, and application. Okay, so these we will see later. Then tool steel. We will see tool steel. What is tool steel? These steels are used to make tools and dies for cutting, forming, and other forming operations. These steels are designated to provide wear resistance. Then they are basically high carbon alloys. Next, properties of tool steel. What are the properties of tool steel? Good toughness, good wear resistance, good machinability, then resistance to decarburization. Okay, these are the basic types of tool steel and the AASI, SAAA, Society of Automotive Engineers grade. Then HSLA steel. Okay, HSLA steel. That is nothing but another high strength, low alloy steel, called as microalloyed steel. Okay, aim to reduce weight through increased strength. HSLA steels are widely used as structural alloy steel. In structural application, need of high yield strength, weldability, corrosion resistance. Low alloy steel have twice of yield strength of plain carbon steel. Okay, low alloy steel have twice of yield strength of plain carbon steel. Next, 0.20% of copper added to improve corrosion resistance. Resistance to formation of martensites by adding like manganese, silicon, vanadium. Okay, these are the composition of HSLA. Okay, what are the niobium or vanadium, low manganese or vanadium, manganese copper, manganese vanadium copper. Okay, then characteristics of HSLA steel. Characteristics of HSLA steel. What are the characteristics? It has high yield strength. It is welded without become brittle. Very lightweight material, saving up to 200 to 300%. Okay, next, high corrosion resistance, good formability, and good machinability. Okay, then application of HSLA steel. What are the applications? Structural materials like bridges, towers, columns, pressure vessels. Okay, marriage steel. These steels are low carbon, high alloyed steel. Okay, high strength materials. High strength materials that can be hardened to obtain tensile strength up to 1900 megapascal. Okay, then composition. What is the composition of marriage steel? Nickel 18%, cobalt 7%, copper less than 0.05%, and small amount of other elements. This composition developed martensites upon cooling from austenite temperature. These steels can be cold worked and hardened by precipitation at below austenizing temperature to achieve high tensile strength. Then characteristics of maraging steel. So, now what are the characteristics of maraging steel? Very high tensile strength, superior in toughness with high strength, suitable for surface hardening by nitriding. They can be welded by full solution and aging treatments. Okay. Then application of marriage. What are the applications? These are flexible drive shaft in helicopters, barrels for rapid firing guns, die casting dies, extrusion ramps and space casts. Okay. These are the composition of mechanical properties and typical marriaging steels. Okay. Nickel, percentage of nickel, percentage of copper, percentage of molybdenum, percentage of tin, percentage of aluminum, percentage of, sorry, this is cobalt. Okay, this is carbon. Then the typical mechanical properties: tensile strength in Newton per mm square, 0.2% proof resistance, plus elongation in percentage, impact strength chart. Okay, cast irons. Cast iron. Okay, next you are going to see about cast iron. Cast iron contains of 2% of carbon and other alloys such as silicon and manganese. It is an eclectic alloy of iron and carbon. Then composition of cast iron. Composition of cast iron: carbon 3 to 4%, sulfur 0.1%, silicon 1 to 3%. Okay. Phosphorus 1%, manganese 0.5 to 1%. Then the effect of composition: carbon improved hardness. Silicon, what is the purpose of silicon here? The high silicon tends to gray iron, low silicon tends to white iron. Sulfur, what is the purpose of sulfur? Sulfur stabilizes cementite to produce white iron, and also it will cause brittleness in cast iron. Okay. Manganese produces toughness and strengthens. It controls harmful effect of sulfur. Phosphorus, fluidity of cast iron. Induces brittleness of cast iron. Okay, influence of cooling rate on the properties of cast iron. Slow cooling rate tends to form graphite, resulting in gray iron. Rapid cooling rate tends to resulting in white iron. Then effect of heat treatment on cast iron. Okay, long heating of white iron causes graphitization to produce malleable ions. Graphite is less dense than cementite. While heating cementite will decompose into ferrite and graphite. This will occupy more spaces and form original cementite structure. It's called as growth of cast iron. Crack and warping will form in high temperature. The prevention of growth in cast iron achieved by high silicon content iron. Next, types of cast iron. What are the types of cast iron? Gray cast iron, white cast iron, malleable cast iron, spheroidal graphite cast iron. Gray cast iron, general purpose least expensive cast iron. It is an alloy of carbon and silicon with iron. Composition. What are the composition? Carbon 2.5% to 4%, silicon 1 to 3%, manganese 0.4 to 1%, phosphorus 0.15 to 1%, sulfur 0.0 to 0.15. Remaining is iron. What is the microstructure of gray cast iron? Consists of graphite plate surrounded with ferrite and pearlite matrix. Okay. Due to graphite flakes in structure, the fractured surface appears in gray color. The point edges act as crack initiating sites which make brittle material. Designation of gray eye casting, usually by grade number, which indicates a tensile strength. Characteristics of gray casting: excellent compressive strength, good torsional and shear properties, good corrosion and wear resistance, excellent machinability and formability. Then application of gray casting. It is used in machine tool bodies, engine blocks and cylinders, brake drum, camshaft. Okay, application of gray casting. Machine tool body, engine blocks and cylinders, brake drum, camshaft. Next we are going to see about designation, composition, mechanical properties and application of gray casting. So these are the grade, composition in weight or percentage, tensile strength, yield strength, ductility. This is Brindle hardness number. Then typical application. Next we are going to see about white casting. White casting is the fractured surface in white or silvery appearance. So the fractured surface is white or silvery appearance. Contains of cementite and perlite matter. Rate of cooling is fast, exists in cementite. Okay, all of you please listen. It is recorded. Okay, it is recorded. Next, composition. Carbon 1.8 to 3%, silicon 0.5 to 1.9%, manganese 0.25 to 0.8%, phosphorus 0.05 to 0.2%, sulfur 0.1% to 0.3%. Remaining is iron. At the microstructure of white casting, quick cooling of molten iron will form cementite. Most white castings are hypoelectric. Then characteristics of white casting. What are the characteristics of white casting? Very hard and brittle, high abrasive resistance, high tensile strength and low compressive strength. It cannot be machined. Okay, then application of white casting. Raw material for production of malleable casting, rolled wear plates, pump lining, then malleable casting. What are the malleable casting? It has been heat treated to have ductility and malleability. It has been heat treated to have ductility and malleability. Then composition. What is the composition of malleable casting? Carbon 2 to 3%, silicon 0.6 to 1.3%, manganese 0.2 to 0.6%, phosphorus 0.15%, sulfur 0.10%, remaining is iron. At the microstructure of malleable casting. Malleable iron is produced by heat treating of unalloyed white iron. During heat treatment process, white casting structure breaks down into ferrite and graphite nodules, also called as tempered carbon. Types of malleable casting: ferritic malleable casting, perlitic malleable casting. Ferritic malleable casting. White casting are heat treated beyond its upper critical temperature. What happens? White casting are heated beyond its upper critical temperature and kept for a long time to convert from cementite to graphite. Then the slow cooling through Itectard reaction results in ferritic matrix. This ferritic malleable cast iron has good toughness property. Then perlitic malleable cast. Sudden or rapid cooling of white cast iron will not be able to generate graphite structure, but retained in perlite matter. This cast iron has high strength and low ductility. Okay. Then characteristics of malleable cast. Good toughness and ductility, high yield strength and tensile, high young smallness and low coefficient of thermal expansion, excellent impact and fatigue strength. The designation, composition, mechanical properties and application of malleable cast. This is the ASTM grade. Okay, 35018 for ferritic, 45010 for perlitic, 8002 quench. Composition in weight percentage, 2.2 percentage of carbon, 1 percentage of silicon, 2.2 percentage of carbon, 1 percentage of silicon, 2.2 percentage of carbon, 1 percent of silicon. Mechanical properties. Tensile strength, megapascal, 366 megapascal, 449 megapascal, 690 megapascal. Yield strength, PSI, 35. Okay, and for periodic 45, and for conjunctive 80. Okay, the ductility, ductility is the percentage, elongation 51, 18 for ferritic, 10 for periodic, then 2 for quenched. Then the Brunner hardness number of a malleable cast iron is 130 for ferritic, then 180 for periodic, then 250 for quenched. Typical application of malleable cast iron. Hardware settings for ferritic, it is used to produce coupling as far as the periodic is concerned, and high strength yoke. Okay. Then we are going to see a very important cast iron. Okay, that is ductile cast iron, or nodular cast iron, or spheroidal graphite iron. Okay, the composition of spheroidal graphite iron, nodular cast iron, or ductile cast iron. Carbon 3.2 to 4%, silicon 1.8 to 3%, manganese 0.2 to 0.5%, phosphor 0.08 maximum, sulfur 0.01%. Remaining is iron. Okay. Microstructure of malleable cast iron. Nodular cast iron is produced by adding magnesium or cerium to molten cast iron. This manganese converts the graphite of flake into spheroidal or nodular. With spheroidal improves the ductility, strength, fracture toughness. Characteristics of spheroidal graphite cast iron: good ductility, tensile, good yield strength, good toughness, less fatigue, good hardness, having high modulus of elasticity, good machinability. Okay, these are the designation, composition, mechanical properties, and application of spheroidal graphite. Okay, a heavy duty pipe. It is, as far as the ferritic is concerned, the typical applications are heavy duty pipe, valve and pump bodies. As far as the periodic is concerned, cranks, it is used for produce crankshaft and gear. As far as the quenched is concerned, high strength machine parts. Okay, alloy cast iron. The above discussed cast irons are called plain cast iron due to content of low amount of impurities. Okay, the alloy steel can be produced by adding alloying elements like nickel, chromium, molybdenum, copper, silicon, manganese. Okay, alloy cast irons are produced to give high strength, hard, and abrasion resistant material. Properties of alloy cast iron. What are the properties of alloy cast iron? High tensile strength, good hardness materials, wear resistant materials, excellent heat resistant and corrosion materials. Application of alloy cast iron. Cylinder, it is used to produce cylinder blocks, brake drums, piston ring, crankshaft, and clutch plates. Okay, so we have seen this so far about ferrous materials. Now we are going to see about non-ferrous materials. Now, what are the non-ferrous materials? Do you know? Copper, aluminum, magnesium, manganese, tin, lead, nickel, titanium, zinc, silver, gold. Okay, so many non-ferrous materials are available. Copper. You know very well about the copper. Cupric is the Latin word. Okay, it is an oldest and mostly using material. Okay, then we are going to see about characteristics of copper. What are the characteristics of copper? High electrical and thermal conductivity, excellent resistance to corrosion, very soft and ductile malleable. It can be worked on hot and cold. It cannot be welded. Okay, it becomes brittle at below melting temperature. Application: power cables. It is used to power cables, telephone cables, computer networks, printer circuit. Then architectural sheet uses to manufacturing of bronze and brass. Properties: melting point of copper is 1083 degrees Celsius. Crystal structure of copper is another FCC. Okay, face centered cubic structure. The density of copper is 8.93 into 10 power 3 kg per meter cube. Young's modulus is equal to 122.5 gigapascal. Tensile strength 220 megapascal. Electrical resistivity 1.67 into 10 power minus 8 ohm at 20 degrees Celsius. Corrosion resistance. Corrosion resistance is very good. Okay, then copper alloys. Copper alloys. Copper may be alloyed with a number of elements to produce range of full alloys. Range of full alloys. Types. Brass, bronze, gunmetals, cupro, nickel. Okay, then bronze. What is bronze? It is an alloy of copper and zinc. Okay, bronze. It is an alloy of copper and tin. Gunmetal. It is an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc. Cupronickel. It is an alloy of copper and nickel. Brasses. Brass another. It is an alloy of copper and zinc. And small amount of other metals like tin, lead, aluminum were added. Up to 36% of zinc. Up to 36% zinc. Brass is in single phase solid solution with alpha phases called as alpha plate. Alpha phases are relatively soft, ductile, and easily cooled. More than 36% zinc have two phases. One is alpha phase and another one is beta phase. Okay, these brasses are harder and stronger than alpha phases metal. Then characteristics of brasses. It is stronger than copper. Okay, brass. It is stronger than copper. Lower thermal and electrical conductivity. It can cast into mold, drawn into wires. 1 to 3% lead is added to improve machinability property. Then composition, properties, and application of brass alloy. Okay, these are the so many properties and application of brass alloy. Okay, bronze. It is an alloy of copper and tin. Okay, it is an alloy of copper and tin. These are high strength with good corrosive resistance than brass. Okay, these are high strength with good corrosive resistance than brass. Increase in strength is need of adding tin content.
Sir. Sir.
Yes.
Network problem cut ஆயிடுச்சு sir.
No problem. Please be on the line. It is recorded in the.
Okay, sir. Join பண்ணிட்டேன் sir.
Okay. If tin content is less than 12%, it becomes brittle material. Okay, it can be shaped into wires, rolls, rods, and sheets. Then these are the composition, properties, and application of bronze alloys. Okay, what are the alloy name? Bell bronze, phosphor bronze, silicon bronze, aluminum bronze, fine edge bronze, leaded bronze. Okay, then gunmetals. You know very well about gunmetal. What is gunmetal? Gunmetal, it is an alloy of copper, tin, and zinc. Okay, the zinc acts as a deoxidizer and improves fluidity during casting. Okay, Then a small amount of lead added to improve castability and machinability. Okay, pa? A small amount of lead added to improve castability and machinability. Since zinc is cheaper than tin, the total cost of alloy is reduced. Then composition, properties and application of gunmetal. So, okay, what are the alloy name? Admiralty gunmetal, leaded gunmetal or red brass. Then cupronickel. It is an alloy of copper and nickel. It is an alloy of copper and nickel. Okay, that is called as, that's why they call it as cupronickel. The copper nickel alloy at any composition consists of only one phase, a uniform solid solution. Okay. This forms a ductility and malleable material. They have better corrosion resistance than other copper materials. They can hot and cold work to shaped by rolling, forging, pressing, drawing and spinning. And composition, properties and application of cupronickel. Okay, cupronickel, what are the alloy names? Cupronickel, monal metal, K-monal. Okay, these are the main alloying elements. Okay, the properties for excellent corrosion resistance. Then it can be cast into any forms. Okay, they have good mechanical properties. Okay, then it is a heat treated alloy. Then aluminum. What is aluminum? Aluminum is the most available material and important non-ferrous materials. Okay, aluminum is the most available material and important non-ferrous materials. Okay, now what are the characteristics of aluminum? Lightweight, high thermal conductivity, excellent corrosion resistance, non-toxicity, then soft and ducted, high strength to weight ratio, high reflectivity. Okay. Then properties of aluminum. Melting point 650 degrees Celsius. The aluminum structure is FCC, face centered cubic. The density 2.70 into 10 power 3 kg per meter cube. Then Young's modulus. What are the Young's modulus? 70.5 gigapascal. Giga means 10 power 6. 1 pascal is equal to 1 Newton per meter square. Okay, then tensile strength equal to 45 megapascal. Then corrosion resistance is very good. Okay, then aluminum. Aluminum can be cast, forged, welded, extruded and rolled. Alloying elements: copper, chromium, nickel, ferrous, zinc, manganese, silicon. Application of aluminum. Aluminum, you know very well the application of aluminum. It is used to produce in aeroplane, electrical wires, window frames, foils, reducing agent in manufacturing steel. Then transportation industry is used in transportation industries, heat exchangers, food industries, cryogenic applications, organic chemicals. Okay. Then types of aluminum alloy: wrought alloy, cast alloy, heat treatment alloy, then non-treatment alloy. Okay, then we are going to see precipitation strengthening treatment. Okay, or edge hardening. To improve physical properties of some non-ferrous alloy by solid state reaction. It is mostly applicable for aluminum, magnesium and nickel. Examples of alloys that hardened by precipitation treatment like aluminum, copper, beryllium, copper, Sn. Okay, the fine precipitated particles of the new phases are formed in this hardening process. The process consists of 3 steps. Okay, step 1 is solution treatment. Step 2, quenching process. Step 3, aging process. Okay, step 1, solution treatment. Alloy is heated above Solivix temperature. Alloy is held at temperature for homogeneous solid solution. Alpha phase is produced. Then step 2, quenching process. Rapid cooling, only the alpha phase is structure. Okay, but in rapid cooling, there is no sufficient time for diffusion of carbon atoms to form the precipitated particles. Due to the supersaturated solid solution, alpha phase is formed at room temperature. It is unstable structure. Step 3, aging process. The supersaturated solid solution alpha heated below Solivix temperature. Here the diffusion of unstable alpha takes place and precipitate can form. Then hold for long time at aging temperature, the stable alpha plus copper aluminum dioxide structure is formed. The fine precipitated particles of copper alloy tube increase the hardness and strength of alloy. Bearing materials. Materials used for making bearing. Okay. Characteristics: hardness and wear resistance, low coefficient of friction, toughness and shock resistance, high melting point, high thermal conductivity, good casting, good resistance to corrosion. Then bearing materials: white metals, copper-based alloys, aluminum-based alloys, plastic materials, ceramics. Then now we are going to see about white bearing metal. It is tin-based or lead-based alloy. All white bearing metals contain 10% of anatomy to form intermetallic compounds, hard cubic and cuboids. The cuboids will form hard and low friction properties. Tin-based bearing alloys, called as Babbitt metals. Composition of Sb 10%, Sn 82%, copper 4%, Bt 4%. Better quality high duty bearing metal. Then lead-based bearing alloy. It is cheaper cost. The composition of lead base is equal to 13%, Sn 12%, copper 0.72%, silver 0.25%, Pb 70%. Used in low pressure, low speed bearings. Then copper-based bearing alloy. Plain tin bronze, phosphor bronze, leaded bronze, sintered bronze. Phosphor bronze lead bearing capacity. Okay, phosphor bronze is lead bearing capacity. Leaded bearings less strength but used in higher loads. Sintered bearing self-lubrication. Aluminum-based bearing, containing of tin, copper and nickel. More expensive tin-based alloy replaced by aluminum-based alloy bearing. Composition of Sn 5.5 to 7%, copper 0.7 to 1.3%, nickel 0.7 to 1.3%. Used in main and high-end bearings. Then plastic bearings. Okay, plastic bearings mean nylon and polytetrafluoroethane or Teflon. Then ceramic bearing. Okay, ceramic bearing used in small precision instruments. Modern industrial ceramics such as alumina used in large speed precision investment. Okay, so these are the materials in this chapter. Okay, we will see just only the composition of an application of steel. Composition 0.05 means it is called as dead mild steel. It is used in pressure car bodies. Composition 0.08 to 0.15 now. The name is mild steel. It is used in pressure wire rod screw. Composition 0.1 to 0.3 now. Name is mild steel. It is used in steel plate and section. Carbon 0.525 to 0.49. It is named as mild steel. Bright down bar. Composition 0.3 to 0.45% means it is called as mild carbon steel. Then composition is 0.4 to 4.5, 0.55 to 0.65, 0.65 to 0.75, 0.75 to 0.85, 0.85 to 0.95, 0.95 to 1.1, 1.1 to 1.1. Okay, but the name is according to the percentage of carbon. They call it as mild carbon steel, high carbon steel. Okay, but it is used in ball bearings and drill bits. It is used in axis screw diamond indicator. It is used in punches and shear blades, before forging die blocks, hammer saw cylinder lining, forging dice and springs, shafts, gears, railway rails, shaft and high tensile tubing, bright down bar, steel plates and sections. These are the alloying elements: manganese, silicon, chromium. Okay. Then application and mechanical properties of plain carbon steel. Plain carbon steel, they are used in crankshafts and bolts, chisels and hammers, knives and hacksaw blades, springs and hand tools, bushing, aircraft tubing, shaft, piston, gears. Okay, okay. Then these are the designation, composition, mechanical properties and application. Okay. Holder, shock resisting, hot tool, high speed, plastic mode, special purpose. Okay. Then these are the composition of HSL. Niobium and vanadium, low manganese, vanadium, manganese copper, manganese, vanadium, copper. Then composition of mechanical products, typical marrying steel. Then these are the designation, composition, mechanical properties and application of malleable casting. Then these are the designation, composition, mechanical properties or application of spheroidal graphite, spheroidal casting. Then these are the composition, properties and application of brass alloys. Okay, next. These are the composition, properties and application of bronze alloys. Okay, then gunmetals. Then composition, properties and application of gunmetals. Okay, for pumps, valves, statuary and miscellaneous castings. Then application for leaded gunmetal. For bearings, steam pipe fitting, marine casting, hydraulic valves and gears, etc. Then these are the iron carbon diagram, punching diagram. Okay, so we have seen all the type of materials. Then we are going to see next class. Next class we are going to see about thermoplastic, thermosets, elastomers, ceramics, composites. Okay, what is our thermoplastic? It can be remolded again and again. Whereas in thermosetting cannot be remolded. Okay, what are the types of thermoplastics? Acrylics, nylons, polyethylene. Thermosets, epoxides, phenolics, polymers. Then elastomers, rubbers, silicon, polyurethane. Then ceramics and others. Oxides, nitrates, carbides, glasses, glass ceramics, graphite, diamond. Composites, reinforced plastic and metal matrix. Okay, we will see one by one in the next class. Okay. We will see next class about ceramics, sorry, plastics. Then we will see the types of plastics which are available, thermoplastic, thermosettings. Okay, that is.